Hi everyone. Today I will show you something from the code debugging point of view. Okay. So this is my users endpoint. Okay. Which is accepting users info in the request body. Okay. And whatever the users information I am getting in the request body, that information I am saving in the H2 database. Okay. Which is again kind of in-memory database. If I go to Postman and if I hit my API endpoint, if you see the API response, we are getting the saved user details in the API response with the user ID, right? Now, let's do one thing. Let's go to our application console. Here, if you see, I can see only these two logs, right? That get user details execution started and get users detail execution ended. Behind the scene, there might be some query which is getting executed, right? But we are not able to see those queries details in the console, right? So what we can do, we can go to our application.properties file and we can add this particular property in the application properties file to enable the SQL statement in the console. Or we can say to print the SQL statement in the console, whatever the SQL statement getting executed behind the scene. Okay. Now, if I restart my application, so if you see our application is started. Okay. And if we again go and hit our API endpoint, we will find that whatever the queries that is being executed behind the scene by the JPA or Hibernate, okay, that particular query will get printed in the console. Okay, the API call is successful. Let's go back to the console. In console, we can clearly see the SQL query being executed. If you see, it's insert into user info and age, email, name, ID, where whatever the values that is being passed is masked. Okay, so here my table name is user info, where these user details are being saved, right? Now, this particular property is helpful when your SQL queries are not working as expected. Okay. Let's say you have written a query. Okay. And you are hitting your API endpoint, but you are getting some exception. Your details are not getting saved correctly. In that case, you can make use of this property and enable the SQL statement, or you can print the SQL statement in the application console. That's all for this video. Follow concepts of CS for more debugging tips and tricks. Okay. Bye-bye.